You know that feeling, don't you? You ask a child not to touch the precious porcelain vase on the table. You speak gently, clearly, perhaps even with an empathetic tone. And then, right before your eyes, the child doesn't just touch it. They look you straight in the eye with a level of audacity that is almost breathtaking. And then slowly, they push it off the edge. Welcome to the world of resistance. Many call it stubbornness. Some call it being spoiled. But if you look closer, you begin to notice something different. This isn't a power struggle. It is a performance of the nervous system. Today, we are talking about something deeper. Why a child's brain is hardwired to say no, even when they want to say yes. And why doing the exact opposite is not defiance. It is evidence. The very first piece of evidence that the child is trying to become an independent human being. Why do we hate being told what to do so much? In psychology, there is a concept called psychological reactance. When someone takes away our freedom of choice, the brain triggers a kind of internal alarm, a quiet but urgent code red. For a child, the world is already predetermined. When to eat, what to wear, where to sleep. Their autonomy is as fragile as a strand of hair. Researchers at Harvard University have observed something important. When a child feels excessively coerced, the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for logical processing, temporarily goes offline, and the limbic system takes over. The result? Not rebellion, but survival. The child doesn't hear a request. They don't experience a piece of advice. They experience an invasion of their emerging identity. Doing the opposite is not sabotage. It is confirmation. I resist. Therefore, I have a will. I exist. Think of resistance as a beta version of adulthood. You want your child to grow up to stand firm against peer pressure, to say no to unreasonable demands from a boss, to challenge social injustices. Right? Well, here's the good news. They are practicing those skills right now, on you. There's a bittersweet irony here. We spend years teaching children to think independently, yet we feel personally insulted the moment they start doing it at 7 a.m. over a bowl of cereal. Behavioral psychologists call this the individuation phase. A child who never says no isn't necessarily a good child. They may simply be a child who struggles to establish boundaries. Resistance, to some extent, is the first security software the brain installs to protect the emerging self. But why does this resistance drive us adults so crazy? Because it touches something older. It activates the unfinished wounds in our own nervous systems. When a child says no, they unknowingly echo the moments in our own past when we wanted to say no, but couldn't. The child isn't fighting you. They're fighting the feeling of being controlled. And that difference changes everything. If you observe a child who consistently does the opposite, what you're witnessing is a nervous system working at full capacity, testing, probing, mapping the limits of reality. They are like tiny scientists, dropping behavioral experiments into their environment to see what breaks, what stays intact, and most importantly, who will still be there to love them after everything shatters. Resistance is not a flaw in the system. It is a feature. It is the child's declaration, I am not an extension of you. I am separate. I exist. Ultimately, childhood resistance is not a problem to be solved. It is a process to be understood. A child who dares to do the opposite is a child with a powerful life force. They are not searching for conflict. They are searching for freedom. Perhaps, instead of asking how to make them obey, we might feel relieved that they have not lost their identity so soon. Because in the end, the people who change the world are often the same children who once refused to eat the cereal you carefully prepared. If you recognize yourself in this story, consider subscribing. There are many more layers of the cortex for us to explore together. Thank you for being here in this small moment of stillness amidst the quiet chaos of growing up.